All right, so here's a quick tour of the house. It's a bit of a mess, but it's kind of hard to keep this place cleaned up. It's small, and so it's hard when you have, I mean, even with the stuff, we only brought stuff in suitcases. Wow, that was really dark because of the background. We only brought stuff in suitcases, and even with the stuff we brought in our suitcases, it's hard to fit everything in this place. So we're glad that we're looking at moving to a different place here soon. Anyways, here's a quick tour. Places in Alaska have what's called an Arctic entry. Conceptually, you would use this space to come in and kick off your boots and your coats and hang them out here. Although this place needs a lot of work, and so the Arctic entry isn't very weatherproof. The idea with that, and then you'd close that door, take off your stuff, and then open the door that comes actually into the house. So here's kind of a quick tour of the living room. It's not much. Small love seat, a chair in the corner, a bunch of dog toys, a couple of dogs, small coffee table, and a TV, and that's really it. And then looking out over the Bering Sea there. Coming this way, you come into a kitchen. Has a little galley stove, so you can see that one pot takes up the entire stove, or one pan. So there's the cabinet space, or the counter space, cabinets. Got a little bit more counter space over there. Fridge, small bathroom. Ora likes to call small bathrooms one butt bathrooms. I think this is a half a butt bathroom. This is my office, and our kind of where we store all our clothes, and where the washing machine is. The dryer is behind that door. Here are the stairs. So it's hard to give you an idea of the angle of the stairs. So that's the angle of the stairs. It's essentially a ladder. So if we go up here, the place is probably not very cleaned up, and it's a little dark up here. Flip the light on. So here's the bedroom. Or essentially that's kind of where we're putting some of our suitcases. Enough room for a queen size bed and an end table. There's probably room for an end table over there. There are no screens on the windows, so it's just looking right outside. But you get a pretty cool view up here. Looking out over the Bering Sea. That house is defunct. It has dilapidated to a point where it's leaning funny, so they're underneath it putting new beams and stuff in and stilts on it so that it can be reused. So that's essentially the house. There's not a lot to it, and it's not in very good condition. There is water damage. Things don't work. Half the outlets don't work. The sink doesn't work right. The toilet's at an angle, and the seat doesn't work. I mean, there's just a lot of little problems with this place that the new place supposedly doesn't have. We'll have to wait and see. But that's a quick tour of the house. Now on to get coffee. Here's the view right outside our front door. Down there's the harbor where all the gold mining dredges and stuff put into port. That's the Bering Sea facing south. Out there in the distance, you can see a cargo ship. That's the one that's loading and unloading stuff for town. That's the main drag that goes up and down the shoreline called Front Street. It's also where the Iditarod ends, and then this main road out here is called Bering Street. And that's basically the two main drags in town. I'll show you more as I get over there. Here in January, this empty lot was a bar. I guess a fire happened and it burned down sometime this spring, summer, somewhere in there. Anyway, yeah, I thought I'd noticed something was different since January, and this lot burned. It was a house that burned down. I should say a bar that burned down. So this place, I was walking by yesterday. They were trying to restore it. I was asking the guys working on it how old it was, and they said they found newspapers in the walls from 1901. That's pretty cool. When you look at this place. 1901. It's just a old hut, kind of an old shack, and it's pretty neat. It's either dust or mud, the whole town. Anyway, got my coffee. They have a nice little coffee shop here. Actually, I have a lot of really kind of cool little restaurants and stuff. Spilling coffee. We ate for our anniversary. We had at the Bering Sea restaurant. They have pretty good food. There's good seafood here. They actually have sushi at the Bering Sea restaurant, which is pretty good. It's a very kind of polyglot community. There's a lot of ethnicities that live here, from Korean, of course, Native Alaskan, white, African American. There's a number of different ethnicities, and so you get different kind of foods and cultures and stuff. There's Chinese restaurants, pizza. So it seems like it's way off the grid and way out there, and there's nothing here, and it's there's just nothing here. But that's not true. There's a lot of good food here, a lot of bars. But it does get cold, and I think that's what people think of when they think of desolate. They think cold. So, and right now it's in the 30s. It's chilly. It's an interesting place too, considering that it's a town of about 3,500 people, and there are, God, I don't know how many bars. There are 3 or 4 marijuana dispensaries, because marijuana is legal up here, or cannabis is legal up here in Alaska, and so there's 4 of those in town for a town of 3,000 some odd people. Yeah, it's just an interesting community. You see all these like gold buyer stores and stuff like that all up and down the main drag, and the gold dredges are out. I can see the dredges out in the ocean here, so that's kind of neat too, watching them go out and in and out of the harbor. So it's just a quick run to the coffee shop and back, and a quick tour of the house. Oh boy, kind of choppy out there this morning, kind of windy. Wind is coming out of the north or the east. Lately it's been coming out of the west, and so the waves have been crashing along this way, but it seems to be going the other direction. Haven't seen any, besides birds, haven't seen any like whales or anything like that. I've seen a number of carcasses on the beach. We were going up and down the beach, seal and probably walrus. There might have been one that was either a bear or a moose. We aren't sure. Been going up and down the beach, picking up sea glass and broken shards of old pottery and stuff like that. Not like ancient pottery, but potentially back to when this place was a huge gold mining community. I mean, it's still a big gold mining community. I think a lot of the sea glass, though, are like broken beer bottles and booze bottles that have been thrown into the ocean, and then get tumbled around and become kind of cool stones. Yeah, so it's kind of neat wandering in the harbor the other day, seeing all the gold dredges that are on the show, Bering Sea Gold. They're all down there. So if you watch the show, they're all sitting in harbor. I mean, they're actual places. They're actual dredges. So, anyways, that's this morning. Just had to get some coffee.